Most visitors think airport secrets mean avoiding long lines, but the reality is far more sinister. Behind the curtains, TSA has an entire system of unspoken checks, codes, and coded language meant to profile and flag you from the moment you step into security. If you don't pick up on these secret signals, you could face delays, confiscations, or even worse. But here's the good news. Today, I'm revealing 10 TSA secrets on how agents actually catch passengers, along with tactics you can use to zip through checkpoints like a pro. Secret Hasson, the silent watcher program. The moment you step into security, the real screening begins. And it isn't that X-ray machine. TSA behavioral detection officers are working behind the scenes, doing a real-time profile on you. Using spot techniques, they are scanning for micro-expressions, stress signs, and body language cues that mean a whole lot more than you realize. Here's the issue. Routine travel anxiety can masquerade as red flag behavior. Stuck to your phone, not making eye contact, hurrying because you're behind schedule, fidgeting, perspiring from a run, from the parking lot, all are suspicious. Pro tip: approach with a calm, assertive presence. Make fast, normal eye contact and walk at a steady pace instead of hurrying. TSA tip: if you're a nervous person, slow breathing as you're coming up to the checkpoint works. And that's only the beginning, because while they're taking your face and body scan, they're also marking your boarding pass. Secret #2: the codes your boarding pass doesn't reveal. That paper in your hand is more than a ticket. It's a covert communication network between airline and TSA staff. Agents typically mark your boarding pass with codes that most passengers never notice. The most infamous SSSS, Secondary Security Screening Selection. Its 4 letters mean additional back checks, explosive trace detection, swabs, and prolonged questioning. Pre-printed or scribbled on the spot in front of you. How do you get flagged? Last-minute bookings, one-way overseas trips, cash ticket payment, or simple old random selection. And yes, the final decision always rests in the hands of the TSA officer at your gate of destination. What to do if you're flagged? Stay calm and polite. A good line is, "I understand the additional screening. I'm happy to cooperate fully." Senior tip: carry a simple card that lists your medications or medical devices. This makes enhanced screening faster and easier to explain. But here's where it gets even stranger. Those hidden codes are only part of the story, because TSA staff are talking about passengers in ways you'd never expect. Secret #3: the staff surveillance network. TSA employees don't just observe travelers, they also talk about them a lot. Beyond official channels, there are internal social groups and private chats where agents discuss passengers, sometimes professionally, sometimes not. This was exposed following an 18,000-member TSA Facebook group leak, with members spilling informal and occasionally blue language speaking discussion regarding passengers' appearance, demeanor, and quirks. While most comments are still work-related ramblings, the truth is, you may be the subject of an ongoing debate without ever knowing. Pro tip: present yourself professionally, friendly, but not overly familiar is ideal. TSA tip: if you ever do feel uncomfortable with an agent's behavior, don't hesitate. Say clearly, "I'd like to speak with your supervisor, please." And if that gets your heart racing, wait until you find out the next secret, because it doesn't only strike you, it strikes your valuables. Secret #4: the bin theft window. Security bins are harmless appearing, yet they're actually one of the most risky segments of your entire airport journey. Think about it. While you're busy removing shoes, separating electronics, and gathering papers, your valuables are exposed, just waiting at the conveyor belt exit, usually for far longer than you realize. Here's the trap: items placed on the belt first get out first, but wait longest to be retrieved. That window is the perfect opportunity for theft. Both opportunistic travelers and, in a few cases, corrupt insiders have taken advantage. Miami International even saw cases where TSA staff distracted travelers while accomplices stole valuables from the bins. Pro tip: put on a multi-pocket travel jacket and convert it into your portable safe. Load your wallet, phone, passport, and watch into zippered pockets, and place the entire jacket in a single bin. Everything is then together, out of sight, and less convenient to target. Senior upgrade. Choose jackets with arthritis-friendly zippers and easy-to-enter pockets. They make a huge difference. What to say? Is it okay if I keep my jacket zipped up during screening? In most cases, the answer is yes. Theft is not the only way your belongings can disappear, though. What happens to confiscated property will amaze you. Secret #5. The multi-million-dollar confiscation pipeline. Think your prohibited goods just go straight into the trash? Think again. TSA confiscations fuel a multi-million-dollar resale industry you know nothing about. Instead of trashing what it takes, the agency redirects goods into government surplus shops and online auctions like GovDeals. That fancy Swiss Army knife, artisanal honey, or vintage lighter that you forgot to remove from your carry-on, it could be resold for pennies on the dollar. Technically, items are held for 30 days and then donated, destroyed, or auctioned off. Here's the loophole. However, agents have leeway, so even technically, permissible items may be seized if they're considered a potential threat. Pro tip: always check TSA's updated list of banned items before you pack, and if something's iffy but valuable, send it separately instead of risking confiscation. What to say? Could you explain specifically why this item is not allowed? Asking for clarification makes the officer provide a specific reason. And this brings us to a surprise most travelers never expect. TSA may seize, screen, and scan, but their authority is more limited than you think. Secret #6. TSA's surprising limits. Here's something that TSA doesn't advertise. Their enforcement powers are far more restricted than most passengers think. TSA agents are screeners, not cops. They can search luggage, confiscate items, and perform pat-downs, but that's about it. Some important facts. TSA agents cannot arrest you. If something illicit is found, airport police must be called in. They cannot detain you outside the security process without involving law enforcement. They cannot force US citizens to unlock phones, provide passwords, or place passports in bins. You're allowed to carry your passport through the scanner in your hand. TSA tip: learn the difference between requirements and requests. Compliance with screening procedures is mandatory, but many requests are optional. What to say? I'd like to exercise my right to opt out of the body scanner. That option is always permitted and simply triggers a manual pat-down instead. And while knowing your rights protects you from overreach, the next secret goes deeper into TSA's checkered history with scanning technology itself. Secret #7. The scanners they don't talk about. Most longtime TSA veterans stay quiet about the early days of body scanners because the truth was shocking. The first generation machines, introduced years ago, showed passengers in full anatomical detail. No filters, no safeguards, just raw, intrusive images viewed by officers at checkpoints. Most travelers had no idea how revealing those scans really were. It wasn't until 2013, after public outcry and privacy issues, that TSA was forced to take out the invasive scanners. They were replaced with the upgraded machines in use today that display only cartoon-like silhouettes instead of revealing images. You don't necessarily have to go through them though. You can always choose to have a manual pat-down instead, and that choice is your right, not a red flag. Senior upgrade. Let officers know in advance if you carry medical implants or mobility devices to avoid misunderstandings. Pro tip: firmly assert your pat-down rights. It's a legitimate option, not suspicious behavior, and your rights extend even beyond what you might know. Secret #8. Your hidden pat-down rights. Pat-downs can be invasive, but what most passengers aren't aware of is that you actually have control over the experience. TSA might not always provide the following information, but you do have a number of rights that are designed to maintain your dignity and comfort. You are entitled to request a private screening instead of a public pat-down. You are entitled to have a companion present to witness the procedure. You can request an officer of the same gender, and that request must be honored. You can demand the pat-down stop at any time and escalate to a supervisor. You're also allowed to request fresh gloves before the search begins and to ask for a step-by-step explanation of what's about to happen. Agents might roll their eyes, but it's your right. What to say? I'd like this done privately with my companion here, please. Or would you wear a new pair of gloves before you begin? Senior upgrade. If you carry sensitive medical equipment or have conditions, let them know beforehand so the procedure won't create undue issues. However, while these rights are afforded to your body, your checked luggage is a different story altogether. Secret #9. Yes, your bag gets searched. Here's what the airlines do not wish you to know. Your checked luggage is not just scanned, it's typically opened. All checked bags are screened, and roughly 1 inch, 20 is actually opened and inspected by TSA staff. If the scanner detects something unusual, or if a detection dog alerts agents can cut through non-TSA locks, rip off plastic wrap and dig through your belongings. Protocol technically requires that they leave an inspection notice inside, but that rule is not always followed. Missing notices, paired with clear evidence of tampering, could be an indication of shortcuts, mistakes, or something more sinister. TSA tip: only use TSA-approved locks that agents can open without cutting. Better yet, skip the lock altogether, if you can, and depend on strategic packing. Senior upgrade: always keep medications in properly labeled containers with prescription details to avoid unnecessary complications. And now, the final and most empowering secret, the power you already have, but probably never use. Secret has an arrow, the power passengers forget they have. In spite of the feeling of powerlessness airports generate, travelers have more control than most people think. You can and must use these powers to defend yourself. You are entitled to demand thorough explanations for any decision. You are free to ask for a supervisor if you witness suspicious conduct. You can decline unreasonable demands that exceed TSA standard procedure. Record is also on your side. You can take photos or record the encounter in public checkpoint areas. And when property is damaged in screening, you can demand that an incident report be filed. What to say? Can you inform me if this is a request or a requirement? Or, I would like an incident report filed for this damaged item. Pro tip: stay up to date on TSA's actual rules through their website, not one officer's individual interpretation, which can vary wildly. The trick is simple. Combine knowledge of the rules with calm, polite assertiveness, and you'll discover you're not nearly as powerless as the system makes you feel. So which of all these airport secrets shocked you the most? And what's your own trick that actually works at checkpoints? Post your response in the comments. Want to go even deeper? Watch my next video, 10 Sneaky Ways Thieves Target Travelers at Airports. You'll learn exactly how thieves operate within terminals and how you can spare yourself the loss of hundreds to theft. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to stay a step ahead of checkpoint chaos. Thanks for watching. Fly smarter, not harder.